So you've been in here for 6-7 months. How are you adjusting?
Really good. I also added a trim-off system, but I didn't have that in my last space. That made a pretty big difference.
And then you've got these speakers. I'm gonna jump right into your gear stuff because this is kind of grabbing my attention. The sound anchors, are those ADJ2s? And then these are the 25s?
Yes.
How long have you had those?
I've had those about 2 or 3 years. I'd say out of all the gear I've ever bought, those were the biggest game changer.
Oh, and you got a little sub up there. What's that sub?
JL Audio Fathom sub.
And you've got a nice clean workstation set up here. 2 keyboards, you got the 88 weighted and the Prophet 6. Prophet 6 is also defaults as MIDI controller.
Yeah, well this is the main MIDI controller because it's just a MIDI controller.
What's this machine thing? I've never seen this one.
I do use it a lot. This is one of the older machines.
All right, and then what's the system here? What's the computer interface situation?
So, I have an iMac sitting on the floor. A few years ago, I knocked it over and I was gonna replace it, and the screens are so expensive that it was cheaper to buy a large television, which works better anyway. So my main monitoring goes through the links, and there's 2 inputs on it. So most of the time, if I'm doing overdubs, I'll use those inputs because they're super clean. System is the Apollo system. The links Hilo is on the SPDIF output, and you can mirror your main output to go to SPDIF, so it just makes the same, which is really nice. So I'm always monitoring through that, and usually I track through it too.
So does that do conversion, like I/O conversion, or?
Yeah, it's 2 in and 2 out. Actually, I think there's 4 out, but I'm only using 2. Those are my favorite preamps. Usually I use the Cappies for drums, for kick, snare, and toms, and then the TG2s on overheads. That's Locomotive Audio is a company, and that's a 2-channel tube preamp. I would say I use the TG2s the most for overdubs.
Tell me about some of this other key stuff here that you got.
Yeah, so the Prophet 6 here is my favorite synth. I think it's the most versatile. Yeah, so that's my main synth. If I do sessions at other places, I can take it. It's pretty small. I also have the Oberheim. It's cool to just push it out of the way when I'm not using it. It's very 80s sounding and generally pretty bright. It can be really aggressive if you want it to be. I feel like the Prophet's way more easy to get, like a warm kind of thing that blends in with most. I do some 80s synthwave type stuff. It's awesome for that.
Did you make these cables?
I did not make the cables.
The 1/4 inch, you didn't make those?
No, those are Vintage King cables.
Sweet, and then you got your panel here on the diffuser wall, which looks like it goes maybe back there to the drums?
No, it goes to a spare bedroom.
Oh, okay, so you got a panel in another room.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? This is not a B3, but close.
Right, it's an A100. The inside is exactly the same as a B3. Originally built with internal speakers down here.
Yeah.
To be like an in-home version of the B3 back in the day. You can easily mod it to use with the Leslie, and it's just like a B3.
And then you do have the Leslie over here.
Yeah,
this is a clean Leslie too.
Yeah, it's a Leslie 122. Those are Bayer Dynamic MC930. They're small diaphragm condensers. Since this is a Mini Moog reissue.
You got a Wurlitzer here.
Yep.
What do you like to run that into?
So most of the time I leave all my keyboards DI'd here. So I keep these cables labeled, and it's all wired up to where everything is just ready to go. Everything's just ready to go. It's labeled in console. That's how I usually work. And then also the drums stay plugged into the Cappies. I kind of just find things I really like and just commit to the sound. And also it's just so much easier to not be experimenting all the time.